Assalamualaikum. Uh, Today I will present gear ratio determination. Okay. The objective for gear ratio lab is to get knowledgeable with the tool that we've been using for the balancing the wheel. And the other objective is to learn the correct process for balancing the wheel. Okay, the procedure for the gear ratio determination is first of all, we need to identify the component that are in the manual transmission. Next, after we identify all the component, we need to analyze the transmission flow from input shaft, counter shaft, and output shaft. And for the third step, we need to push the shift fork to shift gear 1, 2, 3, 4, and reverse gear. After we push the shift fork, we need to activate the overdrive gear by pushing the shift fork and the gear 1, 2, 3, 4, and reverse. Overdrive gear have a greater number of teeth connected to the input shaft than standard gear. For the last step, we need to calculate number of teeth for gear 1, 2, 3, 4, and also for reverse gear for normal and overdrive driving. Okay, for the discussion, we need to calculate the gear ratio, speed ratio, and output speed for gear 1, 2, 3, 4, and reverse in normal drive and overdrive. Okay, this is the calculation that been taken at engine speed 2000 RPM for gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, gear 4. And the formula for gear ratio is number of teeth driving gear divided by number of teeth driving gear. So this is the gear ratio. And formula for speed ratio, after we get the gear ratio, we need to divide 1 divided by gear ratio and we get the speed ratio. Okay, after we get the speed ratio and how to find the output speed, we need to uh, take the speed ratio multiply with the engine speed. Okay, the next discussion is we need to determine the uh, final drive ratio for gear 1, 2, 3, and 4 and reverse in normal and overdrive. This is the calculation and this is the graph for gear ratio versus shifting gear and output speed versus shifting gear. Okay. Next, discuss the component and function in the manual transmission construction. First, there is a clutch disc where its function is allowing the torque to transmit from engine to manual transmission. Next, there are flywheel. Flywheel is functioning by sending the torque from engine to clutch disc. And for the third component is gear. Gear there is a different in size. Big gear generate extra torque for slowing down the speed of vehicle, while if the gear is small, it will generate a less torque and it will make the vehicle move faster. And there is a synchronizer. Synchronizer is allowing engagement between coiler and gear, or other function is to prevent the gear clashing while we shifting the gear. Okay, for the last discussion is the transmission flow for gear 1, 2, 3, 4, and reverse in normal and overdrive driving. First gear is a multiplication, torque, and speed reduction. Gear 1 is used for beginning and low speed driving, while gear 2 is somewhat for higher speed, and gear 3 for even faster speed. And gear 4 is where the vehicle is already stable and it for highway driving. While for overdrive gear, it for even faster speed and having a better fuel economy. Taking up is still done with reverse gear, and the difference between normal and overdrive is normal operate at lower gear with greater output and torque, while overdrive restrain acceleration and maximum the power. Okay, that's all from me. Thank